We are live.
Yo,
Yo,
what's up, dude?
hello. How's
Dude,
everybody
you gotta show again your collection of mods, dude.
doing? Just gotta go
No,
through it.
Okay.
no, we're not. We're not playing. Who's got the biggest dick?
You won that
Oh,
contest already, bro.
yeah. With all the mods you showed us, dude, you actually won it already. So there's no purpose of
I mean,
showing it again.
out of everything you just showed us, I only have the G class,
That's it.
and that's it.
That's it.
Oops.
I I only have the Tyrion, and it's like the 75 Squonk.
Actually,
That's
I currently have a paranormal.
yeah. I also
They're,
have a paranormal.
they're actually pretty good. But is the button still playing up on them?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought so.
It does. Usually, in some cases, like even the 510, dude. Like there's a little bit of play on the 510, the paranormal. So
yeah. I can't put the Lucid on there. The 510 is too long.
mm,
It auto fires every
Ah,
time.
ouch.
it does. But anyway,
Well, the G class has got a good 510, and so does the Q Mini. They've got really good 510s, but
Yeah,
all of the others, yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
it does. And usually, like the Lost Vape stuff, I really dig them, to be honest. Like their DNAs is pretty, like not in the cheap end, I would say in the middle end, but it's available to pretty much like everyone. But
Mhm.
yeah, what's going on, legends? And this is the Wolf Bite live stream, so we like starting off in the tangents. To be honest, like that's the best way to start a show. So yeah, we've got Clown Vapes right there.
hello.
We've got Mr. Labworks, aka Paul, aka Mr. DIY Man, aka I'm not Hemo, but yeah. What's up, Paul?
G'day, gentlemen. I'm doing well. Morning from Australia on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, I think I woke you up too.
Not really.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do what we're vaping on first, and then a kind of like special segment, and then your usual advocacy stuff, and our main topic, which is DIYing, because we have two DIYers in the house, so might as well take advantage of it for the DIY market. So yeah, first, Clown Vapes. What you
All
vaping
right.
on?
I'm gonna start off with the Lucid Revenant Dealy guy, and then I got some Fruit Basket for my line, and then next I got the what's this guy again? The Apocalypse with the Brizzo setup going,
Ooh.
and then I got Rectum Balls because I just love saying that, and then lastly Unicorn Mod, and I got some Okami's what is it, Dulce and Guava, which is like a guava type dealy, really good. Yeah, that's me right there. Take it over to Paul.
I'll have to unmute myself. First, I'm running an old Therion with the original, what is it? The Bonza version 1. In that, I'm running an apple pie ice cream. In my G class with the old Serpent 22 single coil. I'm running.
Elite.
Oh, shush. I'm running a lemonade, and actually on a M17 with a original Goon 24, I'm running a kiwi strawberry watermelon, all made by me. So there you go.
Labworks.com.
I'm not elite.
You are. Come on, dude.
No, I'm not.
Ooh. But yeah, for me, I gotta wrap this one, Warlock's Hammer. And that's with an OG Goon. I like them. With some Illusions Nirvana. Dude, I like some pineapples and some berries, which is really good. And then second, the Titan. It's in reverse though, but like yeah, Titan with some lemon chops, rainbow lemonade, focus. Yes. And I'll keep it short. The aluminum, or some people call it aluminium. I don't care. And with some blueberries, dream cream, like a blueberry cream kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I'm vaping on. So for the special segment first that we have, because I mean, we're gonna do it anyways on our personal channels, and we're gonna start it right off the bat with this topic. So why I vape? Like Chuck Allen and Mr. Mike, the vaping jackass, rest in peace, buddy. I know that it just happened so recently, but I wanted to stick to pretty much like everyone. So he and NorCal Sick Boy, or Snorkel Huckleberry, for some reason that, you know, he calls me French all the time, so I'll call him whatever I like. But yeah, basically. So they started this why I vape thing, and basically you'll be shooting a video of yourself and then checking, not just checking, but like contacting your representatives and explaining the reasons why you actually vape. So that's one of the key reasons we do why this is important. So I'll kick it off. So basically, why I vape, and you got to tell your reasons to why you vape. So why I vape, basically, first, I mean, it saved my life, man. I'll be honest. I was in the 2 pack a day, diet, 2 pack diet, or 2 packs diet, whatever you want to call it. And you're running into like audio school, and for people, especially like we three dudes who kind of like went into the audio kind of side of things. For me, like one of the big things is when you usually have your take 5 breaks, you usually go out and smoke. So basically that's me. And it just saved my life because this is this thing is healthier, unhealthier, and safer alternative for you, and 95% safer. That's what the Royal College of Physicians says. That's the first one. Second one, why I vape? It's because, dude, honestly, the community supported me. Like I have the Vape Stook family, I have the Go To Steroids Vape, or Jared the Vaping Goat, you know, Jared the Vaping Goat's group. I have my kind of I have my friends in Fleef Army, and pretty much like I was a loner back in high school and college, so I am usually, alone. But in these times where I get to hang out with my friends who's vaping too, dude, like that's actually really good. Not just that like they make me spend on like some, some cool stuff, but they actually help me in my journey, not just in vaping, but it's supporting me, and not just me, it's my well-being dependent on this. And lastly, why I vape is I want to be an advocate of vaping, where I get to tell you that this is a much safer alternative, and I want to be a role model for people who's out there smoking and doesn't know about this life-saving or life extending device, as other people say. So that's just me. And yeah, clown. What about you?
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, I started vaping out of just kind of a fluke. I A friend of mine just told me that they had bought this one vape pen that I actually have mine still over there, and it's just like one of those cellulite pieces of crap ones. And eventually, I started noticing the differences between smoking and vaping, and where I felt that it would help me quit smoking and further my life expectancy. Because I mean, I was running about 2 packs a day, almost two and a half, going on to buying that third one kind of thing. So, I just do it to continue to expand my life. And I mean, I've had a lot of things happen to me in recent years that just makes me want to continue and push on. And that's, at least for now, off the top of my head, what I can give you for my why I vape.
All right, Mr. Paul Labworks.
The the main reason I switched across to vaping, okay, I tried absolutely everything. I tried the pills, the patches, the sprays, the gum, all of it. None of it worked. I'm actually a long-term smoker. Smoked for over 30 years. And my life was nicotine and caffeine all day, every day. That's what it was because of the industry I worked in. I came from the horse racing industry, and we smoked probably, more than anything else that we did. Cigarettes, beer, and nicotine also went together. That was, a big thing. I had to find something that would get me off the cigarettes once and for all. Now, I've been vaping since June, July 2014, and the main reason is I was diagnosed with emphysema, and I was told that if I didn't give away the cigarettes, it'd be 18 months to 2 years, which would have given me an oxygen tank to carry around for the rest of my life, and I'd be slowly dying. So I found vaping. Within a week of vaping, I started mixing, and I haven't looked back. Anything that I want to eat now, I just sit there and recreate it as a vape. Simple as that.
Cool, dude. So yeah, like this is not just to support the advocacy side, because honestly love vaping. And for people who don't know, like Paul does a lot for advocacy in Australia, and as well as he does like shows and vape radio here and there with Mr. Former Winston Man, our Hall of Famer, Mr. Dave Gerlitz. And Clown has clownvapes.com. Not just that, he actually has like an advocacy corner on his website, and he's with Vaping with the Omis. So really, like these two people are inspirations, and this is probably why people who doesn't know about vaping needs to hear this, because I mean, for us, we already know that it's just like, it's a safer alternative and we already enjoy it. But for other people that can't enjoy it and have access to it, rather, like they could actually be safer when it comes to vaping. So that's one of the things that we wanted to tackle about. And yeah, for our another segment, which is Australian advocacy. We already tackled like Australian advocacy with Mr. one of the Aussie Cloud Shows guy, Modified Mind and Body. But we also want to hear more about Australian advocacy, because they're also fighting alongside with us, and not just alongside with us, they're also fighting their own battles in Australia. So we wanted to hear more about Australian advocacy. So, Mr. Paul, Labworks, what's in the news?
Well, here in Australia, we've actually got a general election coming up very shortly. So we're hoping that we're going to be able to vote these idiots out that have been making all the stupid policies. Currently, we've got South Australia that's wheeled out and put into law now. They're going to start stopping online sales of vape gear completely. That's for a start. Second to that, you've got two states that are overzealous. One being Western Australia and the other one being Queensland. Queensland, you've got a $9,500 fine for liquids that have nicotine in it. And in Western Australia, if you're under the same guise and you're producing liquids with nicotine in it, it's a $45,000 fine or jail. You can take the pick at which one you want to play with. New South Wales is a little bit different. It's around $1,100, but they're looking at changing that and upping the fine. Melbourne has a similar situation. and Northern Territory has another situation altogether. And our last state being Tasmania, which is a little island off the southern end of Australia, they've got different laws again.
Mm-hmm.
The government here will not listen to the science, to the real deal. They're listening to what we call faux science. They're listening to what Big Pharma is feeding them. And it's all the junk science. You've got different state governments listening to absolute rubbish. They will not even tout the findings from the Royal College. But recently, they've now taken a different stance. They're actually putting out and seeing what we've been tweeting, what we've been putting on Insta, what we've been putting on social media across the platforms, that there are studies out there that prove it is between 95 and 97% safer. And once you do switch across, you will find that, yes, there are health benefits. You can do stuff that you've never been able to do before.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk without breathing. You can, without having to run out of breath. You can actually do your chores without feeling like crap. The other thing that they're doing here to try and curb smoking is they're raising the price of cigarettes. An average price of cigarettes now for a pack of 20 to 25 cigarettes is around 36 to 40 Australian dollars per packet.
Yeah, Train Sonic said that Australia is very tough on smoking and they have super high cigarette taxes.
The taxes is one thing, okay, but that's not where it's at. The tax here is bolstering what they need because we've got a government that has been mismanaging everything for so long. So they've got to find taxes somewhere. So they'll pump the price of cigarettes and alcohol through the roof to make up the ground of the stupidity that they're up to.
Mm-hmm.
But
kind of like California.
Oh, California's a prime example of the stupidity. It's like you guys over there at the moment with your flavor bans. I really want to see that try and come forward because it was an argument that I had the other day with Fig Ramsey. He said, "Oh, they'll never do that." And I said, "Well, what about flavors in alcohol?" That's a very, very good comparison because the flavorings, and I'm going to name the company, I don't care, that's Capella. Capella supplies a lot of flavors to the alcohol industry.
Yeah.
So hang on a second. How's this working? How's this going to work for you guys? If you're going to ban flavors, you got to ban flavors across the board.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Dude, that's that's
every
like one
industry.
That's one thing where we're kind of like noticing, like, within the wanting to, especially like I know like Frank, we were just talking about this, but like here in the US they're like grasping at that whole idea of we got to protect the children.
Yep.
But at no point do they ever really bring up, like, whenever they're trying to do things that stagnate vaping, they're talking about the nicotine and this and that, but at no point do we see anything really go after tobacco, like cigarettes themselves, them being an issue. They're just concentrating on the vaping stuff. And we know, like here in the U.S., they had that like agreement where half of the states got bonds and the other half got money, and we know that it's a money trail for the most part. We just see that across the board of we're making them lose money, so of course they're going to go after vaping.
Okay, but you're actually diving in and talking about the MSA, the Master Settlement Agreement.
Yeah.
Quite a lot about that.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing that you've got to worry about in the US. You've got who we thought was going to be the savior of vaping, being Gottlieb, and he's not. He's got a lot to answer for right now.
Oh yeah.
And your Surgeon General needs to go back to school.
Yeah.
I don't care that he's in a uniform. That prick needs to go back to school.
Yeah.
Kevin Crowley has been calling him out on a daily basis with what that idiot has been doing. We've even put David's number in one of his tweets. You got to see it. David Gerlitz's actual cell phone number is there, sent to the Surgeon General. If you want to know the truth, call me. No, still no calls. No calls. They won't call.
No, yeah. Why would they?
You've
They're
got
ignoring the science behind it.
well,
And there's
Brent. No, go.
No, go.
Brent from Regulator Watch has just released a video with showing how the money all plays. You've got the Johnson Foundation, which is throwing money. You've got and I'd really like to know how the kids one, whichever it is, I can't remember right this second. They were given $1 billion somehow.
The
Fishy.
Truth Initiative? Is it
Sorry?
the Truth people?
Yeah, they were that whole group were given $1 billion to play with, and they're still getting funding of $60 million a year. That's coming from Bloomberg and from the Johnson Foundation. That's where that's part of the issue. The other issue is that you have pharmaceutical companies, and I'll name them all. You have Johnson & Johnson, you have GlaxoSmithKline, you have Pfizer Corporation, and the big one, which is a chemical corporation, which is now joined at the hip in the United States. It used to be Monsanto. Now it's Bayer USA. They're all chemical manufacturers. Guess what they supply to the tobacco industry? All the lovely chemicals to make your cigarettes.
Good job.
Thanks for coming. That's how it works. So they're holding hands in backroom deals, and they're all singing Kumbaya. That's how it works with pharma and tobacco. They're joined at the hip. I don't care what anyone says. Until you can break that bond and you can say, well, bada bing, this works, you are not going to have things change. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple. You have to break the cycle. But breaking the cycle is going to be so hard for you guys and here and for the rest of the world, because you have pharma. Pharma is $1 trillion industry.
Yeah.
Smoking now is $1 billion industry. You have so much power. You have Gottlieb that is being told what to do by pharma, not by the tobacco boys.
Oh, no, yeah.
They're having backdoor lunches and everything else. You know, it's the old saying that I bring up all the time is guns, fire trucks, and hookers. And that's what's being brought out at these little private meetings. They're not open public meetings, which they should be. They're not bringing the truth to the table. They're being told what to say, how to say it. When they started sending out the letters from the FDA to the 5 big majors, they were all tobacco companies.
Yeah.
Altria bought into Juul or into the PAX project for a reason. But that was not their first device that they'd actually sold to the industry. They had another vape device that they'd sold to BT before that didn't work real well. So you've got problems already. You already had someone that was playing from the vape side of things. Pax Labs, for the people that don't know, they came out with a device for vaporizing weed. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's where most of their money comes from, is that.
Correct. But they did develop a product for BT a while back that was a failure. Then version 2.0 with the Juul and 50 milligram salt neck base, Altria steps in, does a backdoor deal. Everyone became millionaires that worked for the company. Everyone got a nice little paycheck out of this. So you're buying the influence of 1,500 people, you're giving them $1 million a piece, and off you go. You got problems straight away. You got 1,500, an extra 1,500 in your army like that. Snap of the fingers. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, is there anything other than that? Is there anything, any news that's happening in the Australian vaping community?
Right now, everything comes into effect, from what I understand, the 1st of March in South Australia. It was myself, Breeze Tones, Adam, that's in the chat right now, NorCal Sick Boy, Bogan. We did a live broadcast from just before Christmas of what was going on in Australia from a rally that went down there.
Yep.
The issue that we have now is that if they roll out this law Australia-wide, we're screwed. That will shut Australia down completely for online sales. And it'll also slow my development down, because how am I meant to buy concentrates from a state? Even a battery is going to be classified under this law. I can't buy batteries from. I'll have to go to a shop. They've stopped vaping in shops. That's stupid as well.
Yeah.
We can't show you how to set up devices. We can't do this. We can't do that. We can't do. I'm just like, well, hands in the air. This is also going to stop me developing for the international market, because it's a vaping product. It would mean I would have to not send you a bottle that I've worked on. I would have to have my guy in California mix up something for you and send it to you to make sure and do the approvals, instead of the old way of doing it. So if I was to send you a bunch of samples, you go through them and you tell me which one's what, and then we go from there. And then we do a deal on the recipes. It's not working that way now. They could shut down everything. The United States has already shut us down for developing for your market now.
Really?
With the PMTAs coming through, us having to put through, and if we have to do a revision of a recipe, we can't foresee what's going on. If they remove a concentrate from market, that recipe is null and void.
Oh, no,
you can't go through the flavor profile section of what the FDA is asking for.
Oh, no. And that's one thing that is very annoying, because I mean, there's recipes that have been around since 2016, but flavorings don't always stick around, and they can change like that. And does that recipe go away because of one missing flavor?
Correct.
It's just such a clusterfuck.
Same profile.
And because this comes into play too, because you think about it, countries like Canada, UK, New Zealand, and Australia, whose one common thing is their universal health care, would think that people would be promoting more of the healthier side, or the healthier alternative side to smoking, whereas now Australia's now being screwed up with all these policies. So
all my friends know that I'm going to put my pirate hat on, and they're not going to shut me down. Simple as that. I will still supply my clients. I do not care. I'm sorry, but it's unfair that I get dictated to what I can and what I can't do in this country. I'm sorry.
I did have a question. You were talking about general elections coming up and hoping to get some of those chuckleheads out of office. With that being said, how is general knowledge when it comes to vaping? Around here, most people tend to just listen to whatever they see on the news and don't go beyond that. So if they're not into vaping, they haven't done any research beyond what's being presented to them. Do you guys have that same issue out there?
We actually have more of an issue here when it comes to that. We have an issue with the politicians that are getting backdoor deals from pharma and from tobacco and from the alcohol lobbies. They're not listening to us in any way, shape, or form. Simple as that. They know where their money comes from. They don't want to bite the hand that feeds them.
Yeah.
Where there's a group of us here that are trying to take on the makers of Nicorette right now. And we know that we're not going to get there, because if you actually have a look at the back of the packaging here in Australia, it actually says for use in anyone over the age of 12. It's like, what the fuck is this all about?
And they're into gums, into the patches, and they're 12, and they're shutting down teenage vaping. Good job.
Well,
Right.
there's also been a report come out of Victoria here recently, and we're waiting for the coroner's report, that a child has actually died from e-liquid. We're waiting for the report to come out from the coroner, but we don't understand how that child got his or her hands on liquid, for a start. Secondly, it's been very hush-hush. The government coroner won't release a single piece of data on what went down.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just waiting for that report to come out. If that comes out that it was something more sinister, which we actually think it is,
Yeah.
then we've got a problem.
Yeah.
Yep. So with
yeah.
that, yeah, go Clown.
No, yeah, I was gonna say we've had like incidents of children finding like a bottle at the park because some asshat left it and they got into it, and that's always tragic. I feel you can't really blame a company for somebody leaving out a bottle when, you know, they're not the ones just planting bottles in parks. It's some idiot just leaving it behind. I mean, at that point, it's just being a responsible person. But hopefully that doesn't screw you guys over too harsh, or, you know.
Well, if for argument's sake it does, that'll shut the industry down in 5 minutes here. And the vaping industry is only in its infancy.
Oh yeah.
You look at South Australia. South Australia actually has 2/3 of Australia's big vaping companies and liquid manufacturers and wholesalers, for that matter. So you got a problem.
Yeah.
You shut one state down, you fuck the whole of Australia up very quickly.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, moving on, because I mean, we picked up on the advocacy side really well, and we don't want to get all ranty just like you guys do on the Bottle Citizen show. So, well, damn. But our main topic today is actually DIYing, because both of you guys DIY, and I wanted to touch on this subject because, you know, usually people are afraid to DIY because of lack of time and some effort that they do. But what got you guys into DIYing? But before you guys answer that, I'll just give a shout out in chat real quick. So we got Mike the Vaping Ape. What's up, dude? Jacoby Vapes. We've got Freemason41. Mr. Breezetones, man. Breezetones.com if you need any coils. Breezetones.com. Good site. And we also got Wee 0609. And I saw Clown Vapes in chat. I saw Labworks in chat. We've got Train Sonic in chat as well. And King Tot. And the ever so supportive Mrs. Clownette. So, yeah, that's for the chat shout out. So, going back, what got you guys into DIYing?
I guess I'll go first. Cost. Honestly, that was the main one. I was paying like, I think, $25 for a 30 mil back in like 2014. And I was all like, I'm going to figure this out. And I found some tutorials on YouTube, and I was all like, okay, I can do this. I just got to buy things. But yeah, that was my reasoning.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Paul?
2 reasons. The shops were still in their infancy here, and there was very limited international liquid on the market. Again, yes, it was a cost factor, but second, I couldn't find anything that I wanted to vape flavor-wise. I had to figure figure out a way. Well, I want this. I want to be able to eat what I vape, and vice versa. So I'm not, when I gave the cigarettes away, so I'm not sitting there spending $500 a week on food. So that was my big thing. I couldn't find anything that I wanted.
Yeah.
So that's why I went down that pathway.
Like your apple cream or apple pie ice cream.
Yeah. Ding. Yep, that's one.
Apple
That's
cream
one.
ice cream.
Apple pie ice cream. Yeah. Ding.
Apple pie ice cream.
Yeah. And he showed me some stuff too the other night. So that's some good stuff. And some treasure hunting that he's going to be doing. So yeah, that's Paul for you. I'm excited, by the way, for the treasure hunt that you're doing.
It's going to be interesting how I do that. I'm going to do two things. The final prize will
Is
be
making a company mad?
God, here we go. No. The final prize, once you actually have all the clues, and if you present your case well enough, you will actually get 120 mil of each of my entire range, which is 30 liquids.
Ooh.
Okay, that's a prize right there.
So 120 mils times 30, dude. You got around what? 3,600? Dude.
3.6 liters of liquid.
Dude. I actually know what that looks like too.
Just big jars and gallons coming along. Oh,
yeah.
You're in for a treat.
You're talking pretty much a gallon of liquid.
Yeah, pretty much.
If it all boils down. But the other thing that's going to be left out there is a lot of my recipes that were once upon a time commercial recipes in the US, that because the SKUs have actually fallen off and things like that, they're going to be left out there for the people that enjoyed some of the stuff that they didn't even know that I had my hand in.
Yeah.
That's going to be the interesting part. So there's going to be recipes reappearing out of nowhere. And
public domain recipes?
Well, that's where they will be now.
Yeah. Where can I find these?
Labworks.com.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
What, the recipes or the liquids?
The recipes.
The recipes are going to be hidden in a few different people's Instagram accounts. I'm going to send them a photo when they're going to post a recipe. So
nice. Well, like
it's going to be quite fun.
Like here on YouTube, I kind of do like a basic DIY channel kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I need to get back into that because I've been doing reviews lately. But it'd be nice to use I'm kind of asking you permission here in public apparently. But if I could use those for like tutorials and stuff, would that be cool?
Sure, that's fine.
Awesome.
You can do them, but that's not an issue at all. Some of them are very basic, but I always found that keep it simple is probably the best way with a lot of the recipes.
Oh yeah. The more you try to put into it, it seems to not work out. I mean, I've played around with stuff for a while, and that seems to be a thing.
Okay, Mike the Vaping Ape actually has a good question. So how much does it cost to get started in DIYing? Like roughly give or take, like your usual starter kit, quote unquote, if that helps. So in order for you to you get started on your DIYing, how much is your projected cost?
Depends where you're going to buy your stuff first off. Some places they have different pricing.
Probably the best way to get started is go out, do some Google fooing, and find a recipe that you want to make. Look for a recipe that does have really, really, really good reviews. Yeah. Look for a recipe that is tried and true, or even, I'm not saying a clone, but a reinterpretation interpretation, I should say, of a classic recipe.
Yeah.
And go down that pathway, and you will find what you're looking for. very simple 3 fruit recipes. Very simple to make and very easy to vape. That's not a problem. Start simple, anywhere between $50 and $100, and you can then pretty much produce enough liquid for yourself and your friends for about a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that hard. And Mike, where do I get my recipes? Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty now.
He wants a blueberry cheesecake, by the way.
Okay, cheesecakes, until they create, or they have in the last 12 months, they've actually created the crusts that you actually need, or the shortcake crusts that you actually need to create a proper cheesecake. Now, that's not a problem. Yeah, look, I'm nowhere near fat. On the opposite, but probably all my recipes, or the majority of them, I have a thing for ice creams, a big thing for ice creams. I see an ice cream and I want to make an ice cream that works, that actually tastes what the label says.
Yeah.
I'll go and eat the ice cream, and then I'll go and sit there with whatever I've got, and I'll reverse engineer the ice cream until I get it right.
What's your favorite ice cream, by the way?
One that I've been working on recently. It's actually out in the lounge room. I was vaping on it last night. It's a mango macadamia ice cream.
Okay, sounds good.
Clown, what's your favorite ice cream?
I'm a mid chocolate chip kind of person.
I just did. You don't have them in the US. They're a chocolate coated Oreo with a mint filling.
Ooh, see, we have
we have it in Canada.
We have the mint Oreos, but we don't have them chocolate covered.
Hang on.
Oops, misuse the bell.
But yeah, okay. So DIYing, places to buy stuff. Since Paul left, here in the U.S. at least, we have Nicotine River, we have WizardLabs.net, I think it is, and you could get. They do have starter kits on there. I personally have never used them, so I don't know how good they are. But I posted a link in on the chat for a place where you guys can check recipes. Seriously, just put a flavor profile, and you can get some ideas of what you could do with the flavor profile. At least that's what I do whenever I want to play around with some things.
Train Sonic says like an AWS.
Oh, dude,
pound.
I'm gonna have to be on the lookout for that. See if we have it or not.
Cadbury coated.
Cadbury. So yeah,
it's
dude,
a
I
milk
like Cadbury.
chocolate. Well, this is a milk chocolate coated Oreo with a mint filling.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I've just turned this into an ice cream.
Nice.
And then recipes.
Yeah, like one of the juices I do, I've been told tastes like an Andes candy. So
Yeah. But in the last 18 months, you've had some of the big flavor houses step up to the plate and actually bring out profiles that people have wanted, and reverse engineered, re-engineered flavors that people have needed to work with.
Yeah.
And they brought out some very solid bases to work from.
True.
And then you've got the new kid on the block. Well, not so new now. They've been around for about 12 months in the US. And that's Vape Train Australia, which is a flavor house that's now sold through Bull City.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know Bull City. Bull City's another place where you get your flavorings and stuff.
Yeah, Nick River, Bull City. But Vape Train has some very interesting profiles. And they've also got what's in their range known as bending agents or enhancers.
Nice.
There's things in there that have now made our little paint boxes a whole lot more fun to play with. There's one element in there that they've got. It's called Jam It. You add it to any fruit and it turns it into a jam base. It bends the flavor completely into a jam base, so you can work it in with bakeries and things like that and creams.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I wanted to answer Mike's question. He said, do you measure by weight or by milliliter? By weight seems to be more accurate, but it's more, are you willing to spend money on the scale? They're not expensive, but that's your call at that point.
Yeah, like Train Sonic was saying that the AWS LB41 scale is pretty cheap.
501. Yeah, the 501.
Mm.
These ones.
I use this guy. It's like $10 on Amazon.
Ooh.
It's like 500 grams. And I mean, if you're making like 120s and stuff like that, you don't need anything bigger.
Yeah, like basically, I know this from like talking to like Mark Claw of the Gathering Vapor Lounge and Clown Vapes too, because usually, I mean, to start, some people do MLs, but in order for you to get that nice recipe, you have to calculate it by weight. That's why when you see like DIYers do their whatchamacallit, their juice on like a segment and they're doing it on the spot with the camera, you always see like a measuring or weighing scale. And that is way better because you got to practice proper DIYing, I guess. And lots of things, you know, in DIYing. That's why people suggest you get a weighing scale. And as well as Freemason 41 says, what does it take to get a good Neapolitan?
Okay. Freemason, to get a really good Neapolitan, okay, there's two things that you need there first and foremost. You need a really good chocolate base to work from. One that I work with playing with chocolates is probably Hang Seng Australian chocolate, which is very much like a milk chocolate. Vape Train vanilla ice cream for the vanilla section of it. And then the strawberry, it's up to you. Capella sweet strawberry, Vape Train glazed strawberry, FA Red Touch, which is another strawberry that you can work with. But balancing those three, it's like a tightrope because each of those individual layers, ice creams will come up at one temperature, chocolates will come up and possibly taste like Play-Doh at another temperature, unless you know what the hell you're doing with them. And the vanilla ice cream, that's another one. So you've got to equally balance those three. The chocolate has to be the less of the three. It's the strawberry and the vanilla that are the big two that you got to work with in a Neapolitan. But there's been a couple over the years, going back to what was the name? One Hit Wonder. They had a Neapolitan at one stage, but it was a coil killer from hell because it was loaded with sucralose. Then you had one that came out of Kilo. They had a Neapolitan at one stage.
Yep.
That was part of the White series. I don't think that's around anymore from memory. Then you've got other companies that have tried Neapolitans, but they've never really got it right. The chocolate's always where it lacks. Good chocolate's really, really hard to work with.
Oh, yeah. For sure. It's a pain.
Is because I have one of my questions here too, because I like interviewing people actually. I like asking questions more than the one being asked, to be honest. But what for you guys? What's the hardest flavor to mix with? In your expert opinions.
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but okay.
I do. I would.
I don't know. I want to see what Paul has to say. I don't know. Like, I still have a lot to learn and a lot to play with. I mean, I have a whole drawer of stuff I haven't even touched yet. So I have a lot ahead of me. So
I've got a whole tray over here that I haven't played with yet. So
I don't know. I keep looking at your bottles, kind of semi-jealous. Like, I wish I had all that. That is so cool.
dude.
Yeah, they're all like that. There's about 400 odd behind me, so we won't go down that pathway. It's like a rabbit hole. Once you get into DIY, it does things to you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, but anyone says that it doesn't, you need your head read.
Yeah. So
the hardest profile, probably one of the hardest profiles, there'd be two. One being chocolates. Yeah, don't worry.
Those are all my little itty bitty 10 mil ones that I play with.
I don't even fuck it. I don't even fuck around with 10 mil anymore. I just buy 120s and that's it, and I'm done with it.
I just don't have the room for it.
Well, you got to make room for it.
Yeah.
That closet behind you, empty it out and turn it into a concentrate wall.
Dude,
that's it. That's how you do it.
It'll just smell like a bakery back there.
So the first one's chocolate, and the next one,
probably the toughest one, and they're only just starting to get the flavor right now, like the profile correct, is guava. Guava is a bitch.
Yeah, I've actually tried making a guava, and it tasted so disgusting, and just that was bad.
Guava. So yeah, like, I mean, you guys, I know you've been working some stuff for your DIY stuff here and there. And I know my buddy here, Mr. Clown Vapes, is working on a key lime pie.
Yeah, I have that one. I already working on it. I got it to where I like it. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. But, I mean, again, I don't know. It's one of those weird ones. And I know you probably understand this, Paul, but like a lot of it is very subjective to where, you know, it goes to your own personal palate. Or do you feel that seems to be a thing?
Well, if Breezetones is still out there, he'll attest to one of the flavors that I make. It's a lemonade. It's actually a 1-to-1 lemonade icy pole, like the old school icy poles that you used to get as a kid. You push one of the other flavors in the back, and then you actually end up with Sprite, like a 1-to-1 Sprite recipe.
Nice.
The other one that he loves out of mine, it's a milk chocolate banana bread.
Yep.
It's a banana bread that actually has a chocolate note in there. And he's like, this stuff is so good with coffee, it's not funny. But I'm pretty much known for my citrus. I'm a citrus, like an absolute devotee to citrus.
Lemonade.
We're going to have to talk a little more.
Pink lemonade.
I like citrus and stuff. Like, I'm trying to work on a pink lemonade flavor at the moment. Try to get something down that I personally enjoy. But yeah, citrus is where it's at, man.
It's a very tough profile to balance.
Yeah.
And in the last 12 to 18 months, you have companies now that have really stepped up to the plate. You've got FA, Flavor Art, that now has 6 different lines that you can work with to like boost and bolster. One of my all-time favorite, and I keep big bottles on my desk because I don't only use it in DIY. I actually put a couple of drops of this in my beer, and this is Capella Lemon Lime. It actually brightens up a beer. It turns a beer in like even shitty beer and almost tastes like a Corona then after you give it a dose.
Ooh.
Nice. I was gonna ask you, because you seem to be more in tune on things, and honestly, I haven't really bought anything in a while. Like honeys is something I've stayed away from because I always hear they smell and taste like cat piss.
Yep.
Have they even gotten close on that one yet, or is it still something that's just a little bit far?
There are a couple of honeys now that I've got one in prototype at the moment that it's showing good signs.
Okay.
Nice.
But again, honey is
yeah. See, that's why I've stayed away from honey. Period. I'm just
Why did you have to bring that up, Clown? Seriously, man?
wanted to
Dude.
talk about flavors that are hard to work with. I hit
Oh, true.
hard-hitting questions.
Plus,
Wolf Fight Show.
Yeah. Plus, not only talking about like flavorings and then nicotine, but what bottles? Because I'm curious about this. What bottles do you actually guys use? Because I know some people try to do the Chubby Gorilla bottles, and some people try to stay away from it. But what bottles do you guys actually like using?
Personally, I like these ones. These are manufactured here in Australia by a company. They're 125 ml PET. They're a soft PET bottle. I use these both for my concentrates and for my liquid line now. But I'm having the top or the cap, which has like a little nipple that sits over the top of it. So, and that's the actual top of it.
Okay.
I like those nipples.
So you undo it, and you've got a little, and this actually drops out. It's 30 drops to the mill perfectly each and every time. So if you're playing with it, it works really, really well. But it's also good because it fits into the majority of the products that are out on the market at the moment, and it also works really, really well with RDAs. Mike, honey is not really the holy grail. The holy grail in vaping, and it has been done now. The holy grail was actually an Italian dessert. It's a cake, and it's called tiramisu. The coffee and the biscuit cake, if you know of it. That is, you need more cowbell.
I like my bell.
Now it's Mrs. Clownette. Okay, more cowbell. Okay, now we're going to Detroit techno. I didn't think we were going down this pathway. We're going to Detroit techno and music making. 101.
Sponsored by Rodman, buddy. Our bells is sponsored by Rodman. Always doing those bells in their live streams. So I'm like, Clown, we're kind of like missing something, man.
What are we missing?
This. Because I mean, cowbells would be like good thing for your music, and not just your music, but some shows. I like my cowbells, dude. But yeah, speaking of cowbells,
all right, Mrs. Clownette, you would take up vaping if you made a tiramisu. You're on. I'll hand Clown the recipe.
Ooh,
awesome.
See, that's what you got in the show. Free recipes. That's what we're up. So if anyone wants any recipe,
not any recipe, you muppet.
Start throwing up suggestions.
No, I gotta share a screenshot, by the way, of what I got from our past conversations with Paul. Nah, I'm kidding. No.
I will say, like you were saying earlier, what DIY changes you, it does change it. It makes you really critical of pre-made juices, like extremely critical. Like I don't like how much sweetener they put in some of this stuff. I'm like, can't do it. And it's not even because of coil killers or anything. It's just because I feel like I'm gonna get diabetes off of half of it. I'm like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah, look, the thing is, once you get into a groove in DIY, see, I might be a DIYer first and foremost. That's where I got my start a few years ago on Fresher Show. But
yep,
I'm not a DIYer anymore. I've worked on commercial projects now for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and the secrets that I can bring out and put on the table are like, well, hang on a second, how do they get this? Well, that's a proprietary concentrate that's actually manufactured by company for juice.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah,
and if people think that they're going to clone some of these recipes that are out there in the big bad world now.
Yep.
Good luck, because you ain't going to do it. It's impossible. Some of these recipes are gone all the way back to the molecular level.
Yep.
And they're built from the molecular level upwards. You look at some of the stuff that FA releases in their liquids in Italy, they're genius. Absolutely genius liquids, but they're very, very simple. Some of their coffees are brilliant. Some of their cake bases, they're brilliant as well. Then you have flavor companies that are pushing the boundaries, Wonder Flavors being one of them. They're pushing out profiles that have never been seen in the industry, and profiles that people have asked for, and the makers are now listening. You've got Flavora, another big house that is producing concentrates at a very, very rapid. FA Flavor Art and Flavor Art North America, you've got guys there now that are listening to the vapors and listening to the liquid manufacturers and producing flavors specifically for their lines. You cannot get some of this stuff. You got to really start digging around. Another concentrate company that's spoken about but not at all easy to get is Medicine Flower.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
They're known for one specific concentrate in their range. It's called Alpine Strawberry. It is possibly one of the best strawberries in the game, but it is stupidly concentrated. You use it at very, very, very small percentages, or the other way to do it, because it's already PG suspended. There's two versions. I think there's a VG one as well, but you actually need to heat the liquid to make it actually break out of its box. You can bounce that down 50-50 with PG, and lo and behold, you've got a strawberry there that you can build with other strawberries into something that no one has ever tasted before. You've got Vape Train again with 200 and I think it's from last count, I think it was like 220 or 230 in their range. They've got some stuff in there. Their Shisha range, their Shisha Strawberry, it's one of my go-tos. Their Key Limes are mind-boggling. Their Shisha Banana, their Colas, their Blueberry's interesting, but it still needs a little bit of a touch-up in the back end of it. Their creams, even their botanicals that they're working with now. Yeah, Flavora has changed. You're right, Train. They have changed their tobacco flavorings to next level. Some of their stuff is next level that no one's even got close to. Other than that, you got to go and look at Sticks Mix, which is NETs, naturally extracted tobacco flavors from the actual leaf and the stem. Then you've got natural extractions that other companies are actually doing, and it's not easy now. It's not easy keeping up with everything that's coming out.
Yeah.
That's a headache.
Right. So, last but definitely not the least, any software guides you could probably, share to anyone? Because I know like softwares are, big in DIYing or like doing your own juice. But is there any softwares that you guys use or want to share?
At home I've got a few different ones. eJuice Me Up is probably the easiest to work with. There's Juice Factory, which is another one that's available. And then you've got ELR, which is online, and you also have all the flavors, which is also online. But with them, you can always backwards and forwards between the different platforms and see which one works best for you. ELR is a free service. ATF or all the flavors it is a free service, but it also has a paid section, which gives you a few more different advantages. Juice Me Up is a calculator. Hang on. Yeah, screen share.
Yeah,
I'll give it to you.
I think I've used that one before.
I'll give it to you as an open. I'll screen share this.
Yep.
This is it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I've used that one before.
This is Juice Me Up.
Mhm.
Okay, it's easy. It's easy to work with. If you go into the tools section, you can actually then dial in your different weights for what you're actually working on.
Mm-hmm.
Here you can go up to 10 flavors. If you're going over 10 flavors, I think you're in a completely different league, or you're also maybe a little bit silly, because once you get past 10 flavors, it's too hard to control the mix.
Yeah.
Between 4 and 6 flavors, or 4 to 8 flavors, is where you want to live to. Your 9 and 10 would be your enhancers, your sweeteners, or your cooling agents. Yeah, sure. That's where I'd keep it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is very, very, very easy to work with.
Yeah.
And it spits out a recipe pretty easily for you.
Yeah, I think out of like my main recipes that I use a lot and like sell to a point or another, I use maybe 4 or 5 maximum.
Yep. Yeah. Look, some of my recipes have my banana bread's 6, and
All right.
the sweetener in that is 0.25%, which is it's not even really noticeable. Everything else in there is what brings it forward. It's the vanillas, it's the creams, like the banana cream, the French vanilla, things like that that'll actually bring it forward for you. One little trick that I will put out there is you can always use white chocolate as a sweetener, and it's a note that you can put in the bakeries and no one can put their finger on. If you use a chocolate, it will sweeten a liquid. Use it at 0.1 or 1 drop per 10 mils, and bada bing, you've got a completely different recipe out of what you were trying to create.
Ooh.
So yeah, as we close, Paul,
Yes.
anything you want to promote?
Nothing on the promotion side at this point in time.
Okay, clown. I'm kidding. You said nothing, so I'm like,
I don't finish. Come on.
so yeah, anything you want to promote, like your website or YouTube channel?
You can look. I'm known as LabworksVapes everywhere on all the different social media platforms. My website is just labworksvapes.com, all one word, all lowercase. You'll find me on Instagram. You'll find me on Twitter. You'll find me on YouTube. You'll also find me on the David G. Model Citizen podcast, hanging out with him, Crowley, and the rest of them. We're also looking for bail money to keep David out of jail. But, but we don't hold any punches. If we're going to call someone out, we call them out and just go, no, you're an arsehole. You're a prick. You're a dickhead. We don't care. And that's the way David has. That's the way that David and I work. I'll call people out. I don't care.
Yeah, especially when I listen to your guys' show on VapeRadio, especially when it was after us back in like when we were on the 7 a.m. time slot. I always listen to your show, and dude,
Peterson.
Model Citizen.
Oh yeah, we don't fuck around.
No, they don't. Clown. Anything you want to promote, Benny?
YouTube, Clown Vapes, if you guys haven't subscribed yet. Clownvapes.com, coils, juice, and anything else that I can manage to get on there. I'm working on some more hardware stuff for you guys, see what else I can get a hold of. Yeah, Yeah, vaping with the homies on Monday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right. So yes, with that being said, oops, I got the stand bug, but like, yeah. That being said, you can catch us on Vape Radio. That's 12 noon Central and 9 p.m. Pacific. Also, you don't know nicotine. Just to promote this out there, like I know that we've achieved the pledges, but you can still donate and you don't know nicotine. So you Mr. Aaron Biebert is such a cool guy, man, and especially when it comes to the documentary, especially like The Billion Lives, and he's making a new documentary about you don't know nicotine. That's a very, very special thing. So I suggest you go to the Kickstarter projects, and if you haven't, pledge and give some of your coffee money or maybe some of your, juice money to pledge and give for You Don't Know Nicotine documentary. Also to promote Frank Wolfbite on Instagram and Clown Vapes underscore SC for Instagram.
I don't have the
Labworks Vape.
FCFC anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just Clown Vapes.
So Clown Vapes on Instagram and Labworks Vapes on Instagram too. And you can always email us at frankwolfbite@gmail.com and clownvapes@gmail.com. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And yes, remember,
Bye.
Vape on Legends.
Vape
Bye-bye.
on.
Bye.
Boy.